The airport arrivals terminal smells like coffee and disinfectant, the kind of air that's been recycled too many times. People around me are reuniting, hugs, tears, flowers. I'm just waiting. My name's Claire, 33. I coordinate logistics for a travel agency, which means I know what arrival times look like. And I know when someone's lying about them. I'm holding his name on a sign out of habit, pretending it's romantic. David, 36, civil engineer, steady, reliable. He texted 3 hours ago, boarding now, I'll call when I land. His plane was supposed to land at 8:15 p.m. It's 9:47. No call, no text. I checked the arrivals board again, no such flight number. I refreshed the airline's website. Error message. Double-check the destination. Nothing. No record of a departure, no expected arrival. Around me, families cheer as loved ones step through the gate. The sliding doors open, close, open again, like a heartbeat I can't match. I keep staring, waiting for a name that doesn't exist to appear on a board that's already stopped updating. He promised to call when he landed. Turns out, the only thing that took off was the lie. The ticket was fake. The cheating was real. I'm a travel operations manager. David's an engineer. Between the two of us, spontaneity didn't stand a chance. Our relationship ran like a calendar invite. Color-coded, well-timed, efficient. We had reminders for everything. Birthdays, anniversaries, even breathe and eat on high-stress days. Our love wasn't wild. It was optimized. He wasn't romantic, but he was consistent. And that's how I mistook predictability for loyalty. When he told me about the trip, client presentation in Madrid, 3 days, it sounded exactly like something his job would require. He even showed me the email from his company, the itinerary attached, the ticket confirmation. Everything looked official. Everything looked safe. I helped him pack, the way I always do. Rolled his shirts, zipped his suitcase, double-checked his passport, printed the ticket myself. Seat 14A, direct flight, kissed him at the door like a ritual. That's the thing about lies. They use the same fonts as the truth. They print clean. They scan perfectly. They fit neatly into a folder labeled trust. We texted before he boarded. He sent a photo of a departure gate, blurry, generic, one I didn't think to question. I even saved it to a folder on my phone labeled trips. I believed him because everything added up. Flight, schedule, reason, and because when you live your life organizing other people's journeys, you forget to verify your own. I believed him because I booked other people's tickets for a living. I just never thought I'd need to verify my own. We met 3 years ago at a corporate training seminar, the kind designed to teach teamwork to people who already work alone. I was bored, counting minutes. He was sketching on a napkin, designing a skyline that looked more like a daydream than a project. During an icebreaker, someone asked, "If you could fly anywhere, where would you go?" I said, "Anywhere predictable." He smiled like he understood exactly what I meant. That's how it started. Two professionals allergic to chaos. He was an engineer who liked order. I was a travel coordinator who lived by it. We didn't fall in love. We constructed it. Our weekends had itineraries. Our arguments had bullet points. We called it grown-up love. Efficient, clean, sustainable. He was the kind of man who texted when he arrived, sent screenshots of his boarding passes, the kind you never had to worry about until you did. 2 years in, we were talking about mortgages, joint accounts, vacation packages with flexible cancellation policies. We even had a shared note titled Future Plans. Once, over dinner, I joked, "We're boring, but in a good way." He smiled. "Boring people never crash," he said. I remember laughing, agreeing, not realizing the line would age like prophecy. I thought love was about stability, about building something that couldn't fall apart. But even blueprints can lie. Even structure can rot from the inside if you don't inspect it often enough. When you build a life around reliability, one missed call feels like an earthquake. And the silence that follows, like the aftershock that never ends. The morning of his flight started like every other business trip. Coffee cooling on the counter, suitcase by the door, him checking his watch more than necessary as if being punctual could disguise discomfort. When I printed his itinerary for the file, I noticed something small. His e-ticket didn't have a barcode, just the airline logo, flight number, and departure time. No scan code, no check-in reference. "Hey," I said, holding it up, Shouldn't there be a barcode? He laughed, too easily. Corporate booking systems. They print differently, he said, leaning down to kiss my forehead. I shrugged it off. I'd seen printing errors before. I wanted to believe that's all it was. He hugged me tight, suitcase strap brushing my arm. Don't stay up, he said. I'll call when I land. He didn't. Hours later, just one text. Landed late, going straight to hotel. No photo, no call, just words that felt automated, sent from the part of him that still knew how to sound like mine. Something didn't sit right. I opened my laptop and searched his flight number. Nothing. No Madrid arrivals that day. I tried again, different spelling, different search. Still nothing. Finally, I called the airline directly, introducing myself with the calm of someone who works in logistics for a living. Hi, I'm trying to confirm the status of Flight 274 to Madrid. A pause. Then the rep said, Ma'am, there's no such flight in our database. My mouth went dry. Maybe it was chartered? Another pause. We don't charter to Madrid. I thanked her, hung up, stared at the blank itinerary on my screen. Perfect formatting, professional fonts, and nothing behind them. The first red flag isn't a lie, it's how fast you make excuses for it. 2 days passed before the story tried to correct itself. A call came from my building's front desk around noon. Ms. Davies, you have a letter. No sender name, just your address. I wasn't expecting anything. I went down anyway. The envelope was cream-colored, hand-delivered, postmarked from a nearby city, not Madrid. Back in my apartment, I sat at the kitchen counter and stared at it for a full minute before opening it. No handwriting inside, just a single sheet of printer paper folded twice. You don't know me. I met your boyfriend at the Grandview Hotel last month. He told me he was single. I didn't believe him. So I'm sending you this. Attached was a printed receipt. 2 guests. 1 room. Grandview Hotel, room 417. Dates perfectly aligned with the weekend he said he was away for training. At the bottom, under billing details, was my name, my address, my card. I stared at it for a long time, at the rows of clean numbers, the tidy columns, the neat sum total of my own humiliation. He'd used me as both the cover story and the funding. I tried calling him. Straight to voicemail, tried again. Nothing. I checked his messages. No new texts, checked his location sharing, disabled. By the next morning, something inside me had gone still, like a machine that knows its limit. I emailed his office, keeping my tone polite. Hi, just checking if David's returned from his presentation yet. The auto reply came back instantly. Out of office until further notice. No contact, no flight, no Madrid. Just a man who'd vanished, leaving me to clean the remains of his itinerary. A chill settled in. Not the kind that feels like fear, but the colder one that feels like understanding. I didn't cry. Not then. I made coffee instead. Printed the hotel receipt again. Folded it neatly. Slid it into a new envelope. Not to send, just to keep. That's when I realized betrayal isn't chaos. It's paperwork. 3 days later, the phone rang. Unknown number. The kind you answer only when your curiosity still outruns your self-respect. Hello. A woman's voice, soft, careful, rehearsed. Is this Claire Davies? Yes. I'm sorry for calling, she said. I found your number in his wallet. There was a pause long enough for meaning to start forming. Whose wallet? I asked. David's. The name landed like an aftershock, familiar but still capable of damage. The woman continued, her tone professional but uneasy. I work at the hospital. Not a nurse, just admin. He came in after a minor car accident 2 nights ago. I didn't breathe. Didn't ask how bad. Didn't need to. He's fine, she added quickly. I just wanted to confirm an emergency contact. You were listed first. For a moment, all I could hear was the sound of my own pulse. Mechanical, distant. Then I asked because I had to. Which hospital? She hesitated. Brighton General? Brighton. Not Madrid. An hour away, not across an ocean. Thank you, I said, and hung up before my voice could show how much that distance hurt. He wasn't missing. He wasn't traveling. He was just local. And lying. I drove down that afternoon, numb. No music. No thoughts beyond the steady hum of tires and disbelief. When I reached the hospital, I walked up to the reception desk, rehearsing neutrality. "I'm here for a patient. David Carter." The woman behind the glass clicked a few keys, frowned slightly. "Oh, he already checked out. Left early this morning?" I stood there for a second too long, nodding like it made sense. "Of course," I said. "Thank you." Outside, the air smelled like rain and antiseptic. Somewhere in the parking lot, an ambulance wailed. Distant, detached, appropriate. On the drive home, my phone buzzed. His name. "I can explain everything." I didn't reply. Not because I didn't want to know, but because I already did. The explanations always came prepackaged, detailed, plausible, and completely empty. I didn't need his version of the story. I already had the receipts, the letter, the silence, all the evidence required for a conviction that didn't need a courtroom. He didn't vanish. He just ran out of geography to lie from. I went to his apartment a few days later. The door wasn't locked. It never was. Inside, the place looked mid-transition. Half the drawers were empty. A few shirts missing. Toothbrush gone. On his desk sat a neatly printed itinerary. Another business trip. Different dates, different city, future dated. I stared at it for a long time before searching the flight online. It didn't exist. No record, no booking, nothing. He was planning his next absence. Before I even discovered the last, I sat on the couch we picked out together, the one we argued over for 3 days before agreeing on something neutral. The same hum of the fridge filled the silence. The same walls, the same air. Only everything else had changed. In that quiet, the absurdity settled in. He lied like breathing. Calm, automatic, self-sustaining. It wasn't personal. It was muscle memory. A week later, another envelope arrived. No return address. Same handwriting as before. Inside, a postcard. The logo of the Grandview Hotel printed neatly in the corner. One typed line, "I thought you should know he's still booking rooms under your name." No signature. I didn't respond. Didn't report it. Didn't even shred it. I just filed the postcard next to the receipt. Evidence in an unsolvable case where the verdict stopped mattering. Love, I realized, had always been an itinerary. Somewhere to go, someone waiting. Now, I only believe in cancellations. I went back to work the following week, headset on, keyboard ready, booking flights for people whose voices sparkled through the phone. Honeymoons, reunions, second chances. Listening to their excitement was like overhearing another language I used to speak. Travel used to mean escape. Now it just means leaving something behind. Days blurred into itineraries and confirmation numbers until one afternoon a colleague leaned over my desk. "Hey, didn't you used to date someone named David Carter?" I looked up. "Why?" She turned her monitor slightly. A small news article. Plane crash near the coast. A private aircraft. No passengers listed. Just him. For a while, I just stared at the screen. At his name, at the single paragraph that tried to summarize a man made entirely of unfinished departures. Then I closed it. Death didn't fix what he broke. It just ended his ability to explain it. That night, I drove to the airport, parked in the far lot, watched planes lift into the night sky, their lights flickering like brief apologies. Felt nothing. He promised to call when he landed, but his flight never existed. The ticket was fake, but the cheating was real. And in the end, he finally disappeared the way he always lived. Between destinations, nowhere real enough to stay.